Hello, Vikings, and welcome back to the channel for a little bonus video. I was asked to do some overview of the sale going on currently, so I will do that. We are, however, down to the last three nations, the big three nations, for in-game sale, covering all the Tech Tray vehicles and all the GE vehicles. I will also do one on the pack sale once we have details on that after the weekend. So, let's get into it. I'm basically just going to run through each tree and recommend my personal top couple of vehicles. Because not much point in me sitting here blabbing on about every single vehicle there is. So yeah, let's get to it. First off, we got the US and we got the M4A5, which I can actually show off a little bit. Fantastic little tank, fantastic little gun. 6-pounder is, in my opinion, the best anti-tank gun in the entire game for its for its BR bracket. And currently on sale for 575 Eagles. It is an absolute steal and definitely recommend. Next up is a vehicle I'm not personally that big a fan of, but I know that that a lot of people like the Hellcats, and well, the M18 Black Cat is just a slight remodel of the one in the tech tree. So if you need a grinder at rank 3, mostly that would be to grind rank 4, because before you get a lineup for the M18, you are kinda into the early stages of rank 4 anyway. I would definitely recommend getting it. Currently just shy of 1500 Eagles, so again, pretty good purchase. The next one is a bit of a different one, the T28. It's essentially the same chassis. Well, it's essentially the same vehicle, I should say, as the T95 at 7.0. Just doesn't have the same side armor due to the lack of the actual combat tracks, I should say. But absolute beast of a vehicle from the front. Not much is going to be able to punch through anywhere, really. So yeah, it is slow, and yeah, it is maybe not the most useful vehicle, but it is a fun vehicle. And yes, I will do a video on it. Currently 3,740 not lions, eagles. And that is really all I can recommend in the American tree. For actual useful vehicles, I mean, Calliope and the M26 T99 are absolute hilarious vehicles because of the rockets. But don't get them for actual use, get them for the vehicle themselves, not for grinding. Anyway, on to the next nation. Penta 2C. Africa Corps. Not a bad one for an early grinder, but it's gonna lose its usefulness quite quick. If you go slightly further down, got the T34 captured version. Absolute beast of a vehicle. Definitely recommend. Especially because you can back it up with a lot of different vehicles from the tech tree and you can back it up with a lot of different vehicles in the premium tree should you happen to have any of the 3743 bracket premiums. At rank 3, we got the captured Churchill. Churchill Mark 3, not as good as it used to be. The armor doesn't really hold up at 4-3. And while the 6-pounder is good, fighting tigers with it is not the most fun thing in the world. Plus, there is some pretty severe weak spots in the form of the turret ring. Um, so it is a good vehicle still, but it's only a good vehicle if you know what you're doing with it. 875 eagles though. Absolute meme vehicle I would definitely recommend is the Brumbar. The Brumbar can also be considered as a baby Sturmtiger. Get the same gun as on the Sturmpanzer 2, just in a fairly well armored encasement. Frontally, this thing actually has armor fairly similar to that of a Tiger at 4-3. So lots of fun to be had with this thing, and definitely recommend it. Bit hard to use at range until you get used to the gun, but still a fun vehicle and a strong one at that. The KV-1C, captured KV with a 75mm German gun. Still pretty damn strong at 5.0, but it's at a point where you don't really have a lineup for it anymore. And at 0.3 higher, you got the Tiger anyway, which is really just better in most aspects. So it's again, it's in a bit of a weird spot, but it is still a good vehicle if you don't mind making some funky lineups with it. And lastly, we got probably 3 of the strongest premiums for Germany overall. We got the Panzerbefehlswagen, we got the Befehlswagen Jagdpanther, and we got the RU-251 prototype. Bit of differences in BRs, but 5-7 lineup is really strong. You can use the Panzerbefehlswagen to grind all the way into rank 5 and get some of the early post-war tanks, while still barely even really having gone into rank 4. The Befehlswagen Jagdpanther is really just the Jagdpanther with a few more radios added. The Jagdpanther is a really strong vehicle if you know how to use it. It's kind of gone down in BR because people tend to use the mobility to too high of a degree and get themselves into spots where they can't get back out, as it does have quite terrible reverse gears. And again, 6.0 might not be a particularly good BR to create a lineup, but you can easily up tier it all the way to 6.7 and have absolutely no problems. And then lastly, we got the RU-251. It used to be an absolute menace at 6.7. You get the same performance, actually the same chassis and the same gun as you do on the Jagdpanzer 4.5, the Henscheljäger, as I like to refer to it as. But cut back down on the armor, and suddenly you get a hell of a lot more speed out of the engine. Does also have a slightly better engine, so that does help. But the gun packs quite a punch. It does get heat shells, fairly decent pen, and a 90mm on a fast, small chassis is just lethal. It's kind of a proto leopard, so to say. So I can definitely recommend that one. And then lastly, we got Russia. Um, Again, first one is kind of low and kind of expensive for being at rank 1, but the T-35 is a blast to use. It's a really good land battleship, multi-turret tank, whatever you want to call it, and I can recommend it both for grinding and for just having a fun low BR vehicle. The T-126, can't remember currently, but I believe that is the vehicle you get in the Russian starter pack, so I wouldn't recommend getting it for Eagles. I would recommend getting the starter pack with it instead and get a premium plane out of it on top of some premium days and some lion booster. If you get 120 lions, I think it is, with each starter pack. So I recommend the vehicle big time, but don't buy it through Eagles. The next one, the SMK, if you like the early KV, well, the KV1 and the KV2, I can recommend the SMK. Essentially just the KV, but slightly longer, slightly worse armored, and you get a 45mm in a separate turret. Don't read too much into the 50 cal, it's mounted on the back of the main turret and is kinda useless. So yeah, but still, strong vehicle, definitely recommend. Then we got rank 3. T-34-57 is still very strong. Arguably, it's kind of in a weird spot because the standard T-34 turret is quite weak from the front, whereas the hex nut turret on the 43 version is really strong, provided people don't just shoot the turret ring, and the turret ring is kind of difficult to hide when you don't have particularly good gun depression. But in essence, it's a T-34-57. If you play a lot, though, you can get it through the Warband shop, so maybe consider that instead of shelling out 875 eagles on it. Actually, the only one I would really recommend for Russia, once you get up in that BR range, is the T-44-122. Combines the speed and armor of a T-44 with the 122 gun of the IS. You do get a slightly longer reload on it because the smaller turret, but with the added mobility, you can really wreak havoc on the enemy team with it. And of the premium 122 retrofits, so basically excluding the IS-2 and the IS-6, it is the best 122 premium there is. And that's really it for Russia. Everything above this is pack premiums, so that will be coming up in the next one. I will get in touch with some guys who know a bit more about air than I do and ask for their opinions on the aircraft and hopefully have that out by tomorrow. So until then, have a good one. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the vehicles I've suggested, and I will see you in the next one.